Start recording. Welcome to the Cucumber New Contributors Ensemble. I'm Matt Wynn here in Nelson, BC, and I'm joined by Arti in London and Kate Dames in Cape Town, South Africa. No longer in the dark.
No longer in the dark.
5 minutes
But
ago when she
tomorrow
joined
we
us,
will
Kate had
be
a
in the
power
dark
cut.
again.
Sorry, Kate, I talked over you. Say again.
Tomorrow we will have it again
Power
because
cuts
it's
every day.
very yes, it happens pretty much every single day, a few times.
And Arti, it's been a long time since you were here with us because we
Yes,
moved.
thank you.
We had it at the wrong time of the week for you.
Yeah, I had my company meeting at that time, and thank you for moving it. And I'm really happy to be back.
Well, thank you for
Everything
originating the
changed, but I'm
idea.
back.
It was you and Mayu who originally came up with this idea that we should run this. So
Yeah, I was going to ask Mario to join today, and then I forgot, but I will ask her for next time.
brilliant, yeah.
Are you the originator of this whole thing?
Apparently, I had forgotten, but thanks for remembering that.
Wow. I'm honored to meet you.
Well, likewise.
So shall I remind everybody why we're here? In 2017, GitHub surveyed over 10,000 open source contributors, and just 3% of them were women. And we believe that our open source communities will be stronger, more vibrant, and more effective if they're a more balanced representation of all the wonderful people in the world. Open source can provide huge benefits to people who participate, and we want those benefits to be available to all. But people need a place to start. So we hold this session each week for anyone who is new to contributing to open source, especially for people from groups who've historically been underrepresented in open source communities. Our goal is to provide a fun and welcoming environment where everyone can learn why and how to contribute to open source. We use an ensemble programming format for these sessions, which means everyone who wants to gets to take a turn at the keyboard. As we do that, we follow these principles. Safety over comfort. We aim for an environment where everyone can bring their whole self and express their needs fully, even if that isn't always comfortable for us to talk about. Equity over efficiency. While it might seem faster to have the most experienced people do the work, we're here to give space to people who've traditionally been excluded from open source. Exploration over perfection. We are here to learn and always discovering better ways to do things. We embrace experimentation and accept that what we do can never be perfect.
That's why we're using IntelliJ sometimes.
Yeah, because we're experimenting. Thinking about experiments, so from the retro last week, maybe I should bring up the Miro board. Have we got any sort of actions we need to remember? Because I've got a feeling we said we were going to change the
Yes.
rotation protocol for the
Yes.
ensemble, didn't we?
We said that we're going to try to do it rotate per task, not rather than time, specifically because I'm particularly not a very good programmer, but I do understand logic. So I can tell you what you should do, but I don't necessarily know the syntax.
Yeah, and we was just finding it was feeling a bit rushed to rotate on the clock all the time. So, oh wow, you've already made a board for this week, Kate. That's amazing.
Yes.
So we said we would rotate on task rather than time. Keep trying IntelliJ, but we've decided to not do that just for the sake of time today for Arti. And I still haven't drawn my architecture diagram. Sorry about that. I will get to that.
And we must remember to run npm run build and check compiled JavaScript before the commit.
Yeah, especially if we want to do any sort of actual testing. Okay, so rotating on task rather than time. But can we still use the mob timer? I guess we can't really, can we?
Yes, we can.
Maybe we can, and we can just press the rotate button when we want to, because it's kind of helpful having it just remind us whose shot it is.
Or we can use the Miro board. I will quickly do something on the Miro board with three little icons. Oh, damn, Arti.
I know.
He arrived.
Hi, Blaise.
So sorry, I had another meeting and I couldn't get out of it.
No worries. We're
I
live.
was hoping you don't show up so I could like leave you like passive aggressive Slack message later.
That wasn't even passive aggressive. That was
nice
very
to meet
fun.
you, I'm Arti.
Yeah, we can just use this rotate button, Kate, without pressing the timer. That's what we can do.
Ah, that's a clever plan.
Yeah. So we can just go like that. I think that'll work fine.
Yes, that
You're
will
not
work
sharing your
perfect.
screen or
Oh,
anything,
I'm
right?
sorry, I forgot. Yeah, I'll share it with you anyway. This is the screen that is being streamed as well, so you can sort of see what the people are seeing. Well, we need to kind of get Arti. I mean, I need to remember what the hell we were doing. I think we had a failing test, I think. It'd be quite nice for Arti to drive, I would have thought, but I can't remember if we're going to rotate on a task, what would our first task even be?
I think
remember.
Matt would say, let's run the tests to see where we're at. But I think first you need to share the link to VS Code.
I did put that in a DM to you, Kate, and you, Arti, I think, in a Slack DM.
Slack, I don't have Slack. Let me quickly open that.
But not to Blaise yet. Let me do that now. Did you get in, Arti? I haven't looked.
It's just saying joining collaboration session.
Oh, maybe I have to accept it. There we go.
Okay.
You're all right. You should be in. And I'll send one to you, Blaise. There you go. Yes, Arti's in. Do you know the sort of bigger picture context, Arti, of the project we're working on together at the moment?
Just from the name, and I did read something about it a few weeks ago, but I'd like a quick recap.
Well, I'll do that while these two are getting in. Oh, it looks like Blaise has made it in.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, we have this permissive commit bit policy in the Cucumber organization, which means that as soon as you have a pull request accepted, a different robot to this one,
I think you need to accept me.
Pretending to be Aslak. Oh, it says you're in, Kate. Gives you membership of the committers team, which means that you have the rights to push to the main branch on most of the Cucumber repos, apart from a few sort of deployment-y ones that we keep more secure. And so that bot has been running for years, and we've accrued kind of about 300 people in that group, but actually probably only about 30 of them are actively contributing it any longer. And so it's a little bit of a security risk, because if any one of those 300 accounts was compromised, then they could start pushing stuff into our main branches and potentially doing other things that we haven't realized that committers have got rights to do. So what we want to do is move them out of that committers group. We're going to move them into a different team that just doesn't have any privileges, just so they still retain membership of the Cucumber organization, so you still get that little badge on your GitHub profile. So the idea is that this GitHub action will run like once a day, scan the organization for who are all the contributors, which of them have contributed in the last year, I think is what we've said so far, and then anybody who isn't in that group should be moved into the alumni team.
Okay.
That's the idea. And so we started by writing some feature files, or a feature file with some scenarios. And in fact, we started by having an example mapping.
Okay.
Then we turned the example map into these scenarios, and then we've started to automate these two, because these are the sort of fundamental ones about moving a user from the committers team into the alumni. These ones further down are more sort of edge cases and stuff.
Okay.
And it's going to be a GitHub action, so it has an action
these
YAML file.
Sorry, I'm just looking at that step definitions. Where was it? So like Greg, Aslak, etc. Are these real users that you're using? I mean, or is it? They are. I mean, I know they're real, but are they meant to be real in this scenario?
No, I mean, this is all going to set up its own. So we're going to do fake. We are working with a fake GitHub, as you'll see in a minute.
Okay.
But these are like this Greg represents Greg Hnatiuk, who worked on the first version of Gherkin back in like 2011 or something, or the second version of Gherkin, the Gherkin parser, and he hasn't contributed for about 10 years. So he's an example of someone that should be retired into the alumni group.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Right. Thanks.
So they are all real people in real life, but we're going to use test stubs. So should we run the test and just sort of remind ourselves where we're at, and then it's test whip, is it, or test whip?
And there's a problem.
Okay, so they're both passing. It's a shame we didn't leave ourselves a note about what to do next, wasn't it?
We said we wanted to turn the hard-coded user into parameters.
We had to-dos.
We do have to-dos. I'd say we could probably start with this one, because I've got a feeling if we write an assertion, we might start to get a failing test.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So how about we start at that's our task? So I write that down as a goal.
Okay.
So the goal is just to turn to do into working code. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And well, the mob thingy says it should be Kate navigating and Blaise driving.
Sure. No
Are
problem.
we happy with that, or do we want to let Arti get involved a bit?
Yeah, sure. She can drive. Whatever.
Sure.
If I press rotate, we've now got Blaise navigating and Arti driving. How about that? Should we go with that as our first configuration?
Yeah.
Right. So I'm going to follow you on the VS Code, Arti.
What do you mean follow me?
Sorry, I pressed the wrong button. I've just told everyone to follow me. Everyone follow. If you press the megaphone, Arti, then everyone will follow you.
Oh, I pressed it by accident.
Do you know the megaphone?
I'm following Arti.
Okay. Okay.
Blaise, you're navigating.
So I think, let's see. So I guess what we want to do is we want to open up the step definitions file.
Okay.
Which is in TS. It's in steps.ts.
Yeah, and then.
And then we want to, I guess, we want to search for where it says to do : assert.
Yeah.
And I guess you're saying we want to do this one, right? Is not in alumni, right?
Yeah.
So I guess here we want to on line 112.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we can erase that.
I'm sorry. I'm in a read-only editor.
No.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's curious.
I'm sure I gave you rights to. No, look, it says make read only.
No, look, it says cannot edit in read-only editor.
What?
Did you log in anonymously or with your actual
Oh, yes, I
username?
did.
Yeah, but it says make read only.
Because I think that was the issue I had as well.
I didn't leave the collaboration session.
You did.
Should I just try to come back and log in?
So weird.
Okay, let me shut this.
And Blaise, for context, we decided to switch back to VS Code just because Arti wasn't prepared for IntelliJ, and we didn't want to spend the time installing things.
But next week we will return.
Dun dun dun.
Dum dum dum.
Okay, I'm just signing in. Matt, you need to, yes, thank you.
Woohoo!
Okay, so what was the line number again? Here. Right? Okay.
112.
Yeah.
I think that's basically. So I would say. Matt, how do we go about writing an assert? Do we just say assert, or do we have? Is the assert like a method of something?
I think there might be another one we can
There's one here
plagiarize.
on line
Yeah.
93. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. Perfect. Oh, that's great. So let's copy that. Let's copy 93 through 95.
Okay.
And then go down to.
Do we have a
Oh,
user?
actually, let's go ahead and let's copy a little bit more. Actually, let's copy the whole thing. In other words, the function definition in its entirety. Yeah. Let's copy that, and then we'll go down to 112.
Mm-hmm. And replace.
And then, yeah, and then we're going to make a few changes to this.
Let me just paste that there. What did I do? Did I? No, that was fine.
Just to say, Blaise, Arti's quite good at JavaScript, so you might not need to give a very low level instructions. You can probably just say what you want to do,
okay. I'm not accustomed to that. Okay, great.
Yeah.
I'm not at all good at JavaScript, so yeah, basically.
No, that's fine. It's been a while, so and I'm not used to this code. I mean, not this code, but this repo. So yeah, I won't be offended if you give me.
Well, so I think basically what we want to do is we want to is not in exactly. So we have, let me think about this. We've got the context type, we've got the user, and we've got team. So I guess the thing about the assert, does not include. Yeah. That's what, so it's got to be users.
So we can say this, right? Does not include, how do we say does not? Is it a does? Sorry, syntax wise, when we say
the first argument to assert is just a Boolean, Arti.
So
you
can so we can say no. I mean false.
False. Okay.
You could, or you can just bang the include. Not it.
Like that. Oh, interesting.
Nice. Okay.
Oh, JavaScript is so expressive.
And we can say this. So could not find.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, could not find user Aslak in team. Ta-da. And then the users that we did find are those. We could probably take that one out.
Yeah.
Do we need that list of? Yeah, I think.
Okay. Should we?
I think we should say, run the test and see what happens.
What was it again? Run the test. NP.
Sorry. So this is going to be npm
test.
I think it's npm run test. Is that right?
Oh yeah, I see. Matt's.
Yeah.
Thing.
Sorry, let me get these out of the way.
We may have to move the WIP tag. We might have to move.
Yeah.
No, it worked.
There we
Okay,
go.
great.
Okay, cool. Failing
so that's our goal completed, because we wanted to turn the to-do into working code, and we thought that would probably make the test.
But does it work?
Well,
no, but we have to make it work, right?
Yeah, because I think we haven't implemented this behavior yet, and this is the thing. So. And Greg should not be in the committers team. So what's the scenario? And user Greg's part of the committers team. We create the date of the last commit. The action runs. Greg should be in the alumni team, and Greg should not. So I don't think we've implemented the thing that removes Greg from the committers team. So that's why he's still there, and the test is doing its job.
Okay.
So I say we make a commit, because that was a thing, even if it's
fabulous. Okay.
A failing test.
Oh,
so we want to add. We want to git add whatever this was.
And you want to remember to run that build thing
before committing.
Yes, we have to do an npm
run
build.
Okay.
npm run build. Yeah. And so this will take a little while.
Mm-hmm.
And what this does is it actually creates some files that we. Oh, wait a second. Oh, wait a second.
Yeah, that was there before.
It was.
It was actually when we started, when I said there's an error or a problem. And that was where we ended last week, I think.
Oh.
Yes, you are right, Kate. So we need to write that down as a task. Okay. I suggest maybe we could start using GitHub issues for keeping track of these things we've got to do.
Sure.
So this is the TypeScript compiler telling us that the entry point for the GitHub action, which we don't use in the tests, is missing an argument, because we started injecting GitHub, but we haven't done that from that entry point file.
So we've imported retire inactive. Can you see what I'm? Okay, so yeah. I'm on. You can see what I'm looking at, yeah?
I'm not sure. Yes. What are you looking at, Arti?
I'm looking at
yeah,
index
okay, I'm
file.
with you now. I wasn't following you, yeah.
Okay. So I guess we're importing this, which is this bit. So why is my screen shifting like that?
I don't see it shifting.
Somebody's probably.
Oh, okay, so somebody's following Blaise. Are you following someone, Arti, maybe?
I'm following Arti, I think.
I'm following Arti.
Okay. It stopped doing that now, so it's fine. So yeah, I guess it's this one.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I'm driving, not navigating.
No, sorry. Yeah. So this one.
We're kind of starting another task here, aren't we?
We are.
We should be explicit about that.
So do we want to do the commit even though this is broken? I guess we could do that. We could do a commit because we did fix one thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
We committed last time with an error in any case, so yes.
Okay.
I guess.
So now what we want to do is and that stage. Okay, great. So we want to do the do we want to amend the contributors?
Oh, right.
We have
yes.
You mean to include Arti in the commit message?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. And I can, if I do it from here, Arti, I can use
thank you.
The git mob thing.
Yeah, please.
Although actually, I probably haven't got you in my list, so we'll still have to add you. So I can add Kate and I can add Blaise. What's the message you want me to write?
Oh, right. So we want to do. Let's see. What do we do? We added a search for.
Added a failing test for user should not be in the team.
We added a failing test for a user in a team.
Mm-hmm.
And what's your email address, Arti, for the commit message? For the commit?
artismarty@gmail.com.
I love your name, Arti
That's
Smart.
so cool. Yeah.
Thank you. Someone recently thought my surname was Smarty, and I was like, that would have been so cool.
That would have been.
Maybe you should change it.
Don't know how.
Marry somebody with a surname Smarty.
That's your quest now, to find someone called Smarty.
Yeah, I'm not changing my surname.
And like him.
You're not changing your surname even if you get married?
No way.
Even if the person you marry is called Smarty?
That would be tempting, but no. I've done that once and it was a nightmare with the passport and everything, so no.
Oh, God.
It's very old-fashioned to change your surname.
Yeah.
So where are we? So task-wise, do we want to try and fix this compilation error? Is that what we'd like to do?
I suppose so, yeah.
It's kind of annoying, isn't it?
I don't have to navigate anymore, do I?
No, should we
No.
just press rotate and see who should do it?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It looks like it should be Arti telling me what to do. Cool.
Oh, God.
Woohoo!
Good luck with that, Matt.
So I'm going to press
Tell him to make us all some tea.
the foghorn. I wish I could.
Okay. That would be
Virtual
so
tea doesn't
can,
work so well, does it?
But you will have to drink all 4 cups.
Yeah, I've got some in the
But
teapot.
you won't mind, would you?
No, I'm pretty much addicted to tea. It's an all-day habit.
Okay, so what are we doing? Am I following you, Matt?
I hope so. I pressed the foghorn button,
Okay,
the
cool.
megaphone. I'm hearing the function that's broken, and it's expecting to get a GitHub,
Yeah,
but we don't know what we need a GitHub.
it says argument for GitHub was not provided. Let me see if I can.
Can we do the fake GitHub? Can we just set it to a fake GitHub?
Yeah, we could. I mean, the thing is, this is where we should be using a real GitHub. This to like set a bit of context, Arti. Like this is supposed to be ports and adapters, hexagonal style. So this is our kind of core domain function, and it wants a GitHub to interact with, and we've designed our own interface that can do the things that we want to be able to do through GitHub, so that we can use
This
a
is
fake one in
basically
the
imitating
tests.
the API, is it? The GitHub
Yes.
API?
Yeah, it's going to wrap it. Yeah, that's the
Okay.
idea. So we need to provide something that quacks like a GitHub for the purposes of our entry point, and ultimately it's going to need to implement these methods and actually make calls to GitHub's API to add a user to a team or get the age of the last commit. But that's going to be a separate piece of work. We probably don't want to go down that rabbit hole right now, because what we're trying to do is like build out the logic of this function just using a stub.
Got it.
But
So
we could maybe make
But why are we importing it? I mean, why are we creating it from scratch here when we can import the interface here? Can't we?
we could import the interface,
Good
if
point.
that's exported, which it is, So I could say it's a GitHub, but we still need to make it be some sort of it needs to be a thing. What's happening now? Right. So you see, so if I make it be just a plain old object, it says it doesn't have a get age of less commit by or a get user to team. So I can add those properties to my object. And actually that's maybe not a bad way to just get around it for now. So we've just got a sort of empty.
Sorry, Matt, that went by very quickly. What did you do?
Well, I pressed the thing to generate to add the missing properties.
Oh, I see.
You know,
Okay,
because it knows it's a GitHub, so it's supposed to have one of these and one of these, and it's just generated empty functions that will throw errors if they ever get called.
I see. Okay.
So
I see. If they ever get called, but it does pass the arguments. Okay. So it'll satisfy the compiler.
yeah. So we could write a to do here.
To the real GitHub. Okay.
We're almost certainly going to want to use OctoKit for that, I should think.
Do you want to put that in a console log, or what to do? I mean,
Yeah, good
I
idea.
see.
So we could put
Yes,
it here.
that's good. Because we have our logs, our to-dos printed out. You're good. You've done this before.
So glad you came to
gonna
join the
Put it in
session.
both of them, just
thank
to be
you.
on the safe
I hope
side.
I've done this before.
Right, so it's compiling now. So that's my task done, isn't it? Or Arti's task, really. I was but the fingers. I was merely the typist.
Joint. It was collaboration.
A clean build. That's great.
Nice.
What is it? What kind of a GitHub is it?
by adding a GitHub stub.
Yeah, I wanted to say stub, but then stub also means like stubbing in testing, which is not like not what it is.
Is this the interface? We are imported the.
This will do, will it? Unfinished, is that all right? Oh, but I'm not doing. Yeah. Hang on a sec. I'm not. That was really instinctive. I'm very rushy this morning. I've been rushing around. I need to slow down.
Tea?
Did you have coffee?
No.
Instead of tea?
I did not. I did not. I tell you what it was. Whoops. Was I finished my meetings and I thought I would just do one little thing, and then that one little thing had a yak shave in it, so I went to go and do that other thing, and then I went to go and do, and then that had another thing in it as well, and I ended up about 3 tasks deep on something that I expected was going to take me about 15 minutes, and it was an hour and a half later, and then I was looking at the clock going, I'm going to have to join the new contributors ensemble in half an hour. And that always just sets me in a spin being in that state, because you're like, come on. Anyway, that's over. So what did we do? Fix the build by the TSC by
and did we have to do that npm run build?
Yeah, I did it.
Okay.
Yes, and in fact, Kate, you'll see where it says changes to be committed. It says modified dist index and dist and source index.
Hang on.
The dist is the output of the compiler.
So it did this file here, which is what the TypeScript compiler writes.
Okay.
And then that was our actual change. Okay. So we're back to working code. So what's the next task? Maybe that's the last thing the navigator needs to do before we switch to navigator. What do you think, Arti?
What do our to-dos, console log to-dos say? Well, no, actually.
Let's run the test.
Let me fix the failing test.
Oh, yeah. Because if I run the test, that's what we're going to see, isn't it? A failing test. So that's our next goal. Work. We didn't write down the last goal. Tut, tut, tut. But we've done that one.
Now, is it okay that we described in our goal that we were going to assert that ASLAC is not an alumni?
I think the to-do was wrong, because it said ASLAC in the to-do, but actually it was Greg in the scenario.
It's Greg, okay.
Okay. I think the to-do was a bit out of date. Right, so we're going to fix the failing test.
Yep.
And we're going to be... I shall
Matt
navigate.
Is the navigator.
You, Kate.
Ooh.
Okay. I'm not sure how we're going to do this. Can you have a look inside the retire-inactive-contributors function?
Yes. Can you see me? Why am I still following you if I press this one? Is everybody following me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oops. So can you go through to the implementation? If you press Control and click on the retire-inactive-contributors function, Kate, it should take you there. There you go. Right. So all this is doing is adding the user to the team on line 12. So I think what we want to do, as well as adding the user to the alumni team, is we want to do so add another line under line 12 that says github.remove user from team. And then user, and then the second argument is going to be committers team. And then we need to make a variable a bit like the one on line 8. So maybe go up to line 8 and copy it.
committers. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so. Do you think we should have a to-do about Greg? Because Greg's hard-coded
Yes.
there.
Yes.
Could we just add that while we're here? Just console log. I like the
Well.
console log in the to-dos. I think that's quite neat.
Hey, what you doing?
So you just want a string,
to
double
do-
quotes, that's it.
What can I say? Parameter?
Well, so I think what we're going to do is look Greg up rather than hard, because we're going to basically what we're going to do is like get a list of all of the committers, or all of the people in the committers team. But that's.
Side note, where are we not? Is the TypeScript strictness quite loose because we haven't provided types for these cons, right?
Well,
Was that on
TypeScript infers it quite well. So given that we're using double quotes, it assumes it's a string. If you hover over it, I think I have to do it on the screen share. Oh no, it doesn't know there. But it's not complaining when we're passing it into. I'm pretty sure it knows it's a string.
Yeah, no, you're right. It does. I completely blanked out on that.
Okay,
Cool.
so that was a little aside, the console log thing. But the big problem is that we don't have a remove user from team method. So if you hover over that red underline, Kate, try doing the quick fix menu. What does it give you?
Declare method.
Yeah, go for it. Do it. Excellent.
And I did it.
So it's added it to the interface. I've now got red on the interface. It doesn't explicitly have a return type. So what we want to do is say that is a void return type, like what we have for add user to team, because this is just a command, right? We don't care about any result.
Like that?
Yep. Perfect.
We still have 3 problems. Should we sort that out? Or
We're going to have to, because
now?
I think what we're going to find is that our fake GitHub needs to implement this method because it implements the interface. And I think that one of the problems is going to be, class fake GitHub incorrectly implements interface GitHub. So we should definitely fix that. And then let's see how we get on from there.
So is this like a commit? Or
No, let's keep going and do this all in one task, I say. As long as the rest of the mob is happy with this.
I'm on steps definition fake GitHub.
Yeah.
Because I pressed there.
Yeah. And can you try doing a quick fix on the fake GitHub? You see where it's red?
No quick fixes available.
No
I'm not
way.
really into quick fixes in any case.
I see implement interface GitHub on my quick fixes. That's
Then
funny.
Press the button. I give you permission.
I don't see quick fix on mine either. That's weird.
That is weird. So we've now
That's what I
got
hate
remove
about
user from team.
permissions.
It's in a bit of a messy spot, Kate. Can you move it down to sit just below add user to team because they're similar?
Add user to team.
So just take the new remove user from team that's just been generated by the editor that's on line 15. So not yeah, that's it. And just grab it and move it down to sit probably below add user to team.
The private stays there.
Yeah, because that's a field, so that's sort of like the first thing we normally have in a class.
Then we first add, and then we remove, and then we create a commit. Okay.
Nice. So we're almost through the compilation problems. The other place is we've also got our like real GitHub that we just added in the index TS, and that also needs to have a stub method. So if you go to that problem, see if you can do it this time. Do you get a quick fix here?
I can. If I can get it.
Add missing properties.
It's not letting me press it. Yeah, there we go. Add missing properties done.
Beautiful. And for symmetry, we should probably copy that console log. I don't know. Should we just leave it on one of them? What do you think? It's maybe going to be a bit noisy.
Yeah, leave it on one of Sorry.
Go on, Arti.
I was going to say we either leave it on one of them or make them specific to each of the function calls.
I would make it specific at this stage.
Yeah.
So I'm navigator, and my decision is we're just going to have one console log, and we're going to have it on line 6.5.
Okay.
6.5.
Yeah, so just
It
above where we actually
is.
declare the GitHub variable. That'll do.
There,
Yeah.
and then I
So we don't
can
even have to
remove
wait
this
for these
one.
things to get called, and then just delete them. Yeah. So you like our pulled rank there?
Good.
We've got a little bit.
No
Strong
more
lead there.
problems.
Yay.
Oh, right.
Okay, so let's try running the test kit as well and see what they do.
Terminal. npm run test whip that I'm running two files.
Something's new.
Progress. How
Oh, it's Aslat.
exciting.
Yeah, remove user from team not implemented in steps TS line 28. So
So it's
if
not
you go
lying.
back to the steps TS,
28.
steps TS, yeah, that's it, and up to line 28,
28.
because we generated the stub method for remove user from team, but we haven't implemented it. So we need something that's a bit like add user from team. So we've got, what we need to do is manipulate this dot members of team and remove that person from that array. So we're going to do the same thing as line 24, yeah. We should change the argument to, so you see our team is underlined in red. It's because the argument coming into the method is called committers team. So just change it to team, because it might not always be committers team. See up on line 27? That bit?
On line 27. Oh, okay. So this is
That's just
like
team. Let's just call that
this?
team. Yeah, sweet. And then we need to make an updated users. Copy line 23, bring it down, and then let's work out how to change it to do what we want it to do. Great. And then we can get rid of the error. Get rid of the throw error thing on line 29.
Update users. This get members of team. Yeah.
Kate, just remove line 29 because we don't need it to throw an error anymore. Because it is implemented, it's just wrong. Because what this is going to do is add the user into the list of members again, which is definitely not what we want. So, well,
Remove from user. Update users.
how do you make a copy of an
This
array with an
members
item
of
removed out
team
of it?
set team.
Some sort of ugly.
So this should change.
Well, that's fine, because what that's doing is saying the set the entry for the team to be this new list of users. But what we need to do is change the new list of users to be the new list of users without that user. So it's something like this.get members of team.remove user, but I don't think it is that, because I think that'll do something weird because JavaScript. I'm going to Google it. Everybody else in the mob, please feel free to Google it too.
I've got some ready ones here, but finding it might be a challenge.
We've got to use splice.
And I even...
Fucking hell. Have we really got to use
If I can
pop?
only find it.
Pop would be the last element. Shift, remove. Yeah, we could use reduce. We could do select. Can you do select or something like on the array? Just like iterate over the items and then is it called select in JavaScript?
Get elements, or is it like
Filter. Let's use filter.
Filter.
because splice just makes my brain hurt. It's just nasty.
Yeah.
So on the right hand side of the assignment on line 27, Kate, so where we're setting it to this array,
Yes.
just make it equal to get members of team. Just get rid of all the other stuff for now. Does anybody else want to navigate this now that we know what we're doing? I'm happy to swap if anyone wants to go at navigating.
No.
No, that's fine.
Okay. Yeah, get rid of the square brackets and the dots and everything, so it just says this dot get members of team.
Ah.
All right, and then we're on the end of this dot get members of team. On the end of the line, we're going to call filter. So
Like
dot filter.
comma.
Yeah,
Dot filter.
passing it another method call. And filter is a function, so you need to call it with round brackets. And then the argument a filter takes is a function. And the function takes an element. So this would be a member, because it's going to go. We're going to call this function for every item in the array. And we want to check that. So member, and then the way we express a function in line like this is we do member is the argument, and then we have like an arrow. So we do equals right angle bracket. I don't know if there's any syntax anyway. Yeah, that's it. So that's the argument, and then the right hand side is the implementation. And we want to filter, and I'm pretty sure filter is, it creates a new array with all the elements that pass the test. So we want to say member is not equal to user. You just need, I don't know, actually. That's maybe good with the double equals, isn't it, in JavaScript? Yeah. That's
Isn't
probably good
that
practice.
standard?
I don't know. I'm terrible at that.
I think it is.
I just wait for Lintus to tell me what I'm supposed to do.
I know
Lintus not complaining,
3
so
is
it must
like
be good.
exact, but 2 is just
3 is exact when you're saying equal to, and 2 is exact when you're saying not equal to.
yes. Okay.
And what does it mean to be exact, though, about a string?
Like the
Same
type
type.
and the content
Value.
should be. Yes.
Right.
Oh, wow.
I think that's it, Kate. What does everyone else think? Should we see what the tests think?
Yes.
Yes. Let's see. I'm still wanting to know, what do we expect?
You!
Yay!
Look at that. I fixed it all
Awesome.
Brilliant.
with the team.
Okay, tell
So
me what
is
you want
that
to
a
put in your
commit?
commit message, Kate. Or I suppose I was navigating. Maybe that's my job.
Yeah, or Blaise, what do you think? You're
Yeah,
the
come on,
word
Mob.
man. You're
Um,
good with words.
so let's see. Basically we just
We
implemented
removed
the
users from the team.
yeah.
That much I know.
No, we implemented the
Added a method to remove users from team.
Well, we did it. But we implemented the behavior in our function as well.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So maybe that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
But I guess not just users, but inactive users.
Well, we didn't really. We just removed users.
No, because we've got that if statement around it, and I'm pretty sure we've got a scenario that tests that.
Yes.
You
What are the
more than
to-dos
six.
saying? Yeah, we've got a scenario that checks that ASLAC is still in the committers team, so
Right.
I think it is only removing inactive users. It's actually starting to do some stuff, this thing.
It's
at
so
it.
exciting.
On that exciting note, I have to drop off. But
It's already 1:15. Yes.
Yeah,
one
it's retro time.
progress.
It's retro time. Let's do retro.
Have you got any feedback for the retro, Arti, if you need to run?
no, it was really good. It was super well organized, and I really enjoyed it.
It was
Um,
awesome having you here.
It's really,
Thank
really
you.
nice.
I would
Yes.
like to
I'm
keep
thrilled that
Arti.
Yes, let's keep. I think she's a keeper.
Thank you.
She's a keeper.
It was good to see all your, put a face to the names. But that's it. Yeah, it was really fun, and I'm looking forward to next time.
Thanks for joining.
Are you
Thank
willing
you.
to try IntelliJ code with me next week? And we didn't get any glitches from VS Code this week, but
I'm willing to try it. Okay.
try.
Experiment. What was the value?
Yes.
Oh,
Well,
exploration over perfection, I think.
exactly.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah. If you just send, do I just download IntelliJ? That's it. Do I need to do any setup or anything?
not really. There's a plugin that needs to be downloaded. We could try it once.
Okay.
Maybe.
I mean, you might
The only
want to.
caveat is I'm using my work laptop. I don't think that'll be a problem, but yeah.
You
Just
might
do that.
want to just try, like, cloning the code and compiling it, just to make sure you've got all of the TypeScript extensions and stuff. IntelliJ is pretty good, isn't it, about kind of coming with a lot of sensible defaults like that. Anyway, it's not.
Yeah.
So when you say clone like this particular repo we're working
Cool.
on,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clone, yeah.
can you send me the link, please?
Yeah.
Sure.
I'll put it
Okay.
in the Slack.
Oh.
Okay, cool. Thank you all. Good night. Good
Bye.
day.
Bye,
Bye.
Arti. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
All
There's my
right.
Zoom.
Should we give the rest of ourselves a moment about what do we want to keep and what do we want to change?
Yes, I changed it a little bit because I just thought we were at a changing point, and we've done a lot of changes because in the QCon Fest, which was really cool, I really enjoyed meeting all the people and hearing all the wisdom, and it was really, really nice. I'm glad I joined. But there somebody said that change is hard. And then I thought, like, no, it's not. We've changed so much. And then I thought one of the key things of successful change is keeping what is working. A lot of the times you focus so much on where you want to be that you forget
so
what's
true.
working.
Yeah.
So if we look back over the past 3-4 months,
Yes.
what would we like to keep going forward? What's working well?
Yeah. And just also, like, it's good to celebrate.
Yes.
Because you can sort of always be like looking for the next thing to fix and not take the time to appreciate what you've achieved and what is working.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the second column is, this is actually plus delta. So plus is the positives, like what do we want to keep, what's good. And then the other one is what would we like to change. And it doesn't have to be negative. It's just if we can think of anything that we want to do differently going forward. So do everybody want to do it silently, or do we want to do a round robin?
I say we can do a round robin in like 60 seconds time if we just give ourselves a little bit of pause from the conversation to just think. Does that make sense to everyone else?
I like that.
Yeah.
It'll be great great video footage for the Twitch stream. A moment of dead air. So if you're watching this now, just take a moment to center yourself, focus on the breath. Think about what you want to do with the rest of your day, because we're almost done. Or think about what you thought worked well, and then maybe you can write that in the comments. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, so Matt, do you want to go first? What do you want to keep?
I want to keep quick rotations. I think we did well this week to be disciplined about having small tasks. That is the risk of not having a timer, is that the task snowballs into a yak shave, and before you know it, you've been driving for 45 minutes and you're exhausted. And I think the timer is good at like pulling everyone out of that. So I think that's the thing we need to watch is keeping quick rotations still, because everybody we got loads of changes up in this one. And I thought a convention that we kind of developed as part of that in this was that the navigator, we need to be really explicit, intentional about the current task. That's really important, because there was one point where we almost drifted into doing the second task. Remember when the TypeScript compiler gave us a warning, and then one of us said, hold on a minute, this is a new task, let's commit the old one and swap drivers and stuff. So I think we need to be really intentional and explicit about what's the current task. And I suggest having the idea that the navigator chooses the next task is probably quite a good one, because the navigator should be the one that's kind of conscious of what we're doing and what the flow is. And then it can be like, who wants to do that next? Or whose turn is it to navigate that next task?
So did I word it correctly? Be intentional about the task, and in brackets I said goals.
Yeah.
So I liked how you actually did that today, where we each time specified the goal rather than upfront doing it.
Yeah, because we can use the mob timer to write the goals down and still use the mob timer. So we can keep the mob timer as well and just use the rotate button.
Keep the mob timer.
I'll just write that in the keep bit.
Okay. Cool. Anything else?
No, that's good for me for keep. I have a couple of changes, but I can do them in a minute.
Okay. So Blaise, do you want to do what do you want to keep?
Yeah, I thought, well, in terms of keep, I think it was really nice to have someone like with experience in JavaScript.
Yes.
It felt like things moved a bit more quickly than just you and I kind of like trying to figure it
Learning.
out.
Yeah, because this is the thing about being new to open source. It doesn't mean you necessarily need to be new to development altogether. It's just
Right.
Or new to
Yeah, I
development.
mean,
in
in
the
some
programming
respects,
language
we're learning a lot of things at the same
Yeah.
time. So it's
And I think that's one of the biggest benefits of mobbing, is that you can balance the skills and you can bring in so many more perspectives. And JavaScript is a very important skill that we need for this one.
yeah.
Anything else?
No.
Okay, so what I would like to keep is the people. You're awesome. And then I also thought exactly, that's why I made the sticky green, the experimentation, that we are actually living our values and that we are trying new things and that we are critically looking at it. I really like that.
You said you made the sticky note green, this one here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we said we're getting really good at saying we need to do this, and then we actually do it.
Yes. Indeed.
Yeah. Walking the walk and not just talking the talk.
Yes. And I accidentally copied the wrong one, so let me just move it out of the way. And then the what would you like to change? I added 2 of yours because I thought those were changes, Matt. I don't know if you agree with that.
Yeah, they kind of are, aren't they? I
You had
mean,
a few...
they emerged as new practices during this session, so yeah.
What else did you want to add there?
Well, I sometimes feel a bit frustrated to stop, and I wondered if we should try to get on the Zoom a bit earlier so we have time to socialize before we start coding, because we actually tend to spend half an hour chatting before we put the stream on. And maybe we should try and, I don't know whether it's going to be into people's diaries too much, but maybe we should try and get on the Zoom 15-20 minutes early, and then we have time to chat before. I can certainly try and do that, and then maybe we're going to be more likely to get a kind of good chunk of coding in, because we tend to only give ourselves about 45 minutes of actual hacking.
I like it.
Yeah.
And I do like the socializing, actually.
It's really important.
Yes.
I started taking a course in virtual facilitation this week, Kate, which I think you'd be really interested in.
Oh, really?
And so it's all about doing facilitation, but doing it in a virtual context.
Remotely.
And one of the things that they highlighted was how important it is to be deliberate about creating space for people to connect with each other.
Yes.
Because it just doesn't happen as easily as it happens when you meet in physical space.
Yes, that's true.
Pixels on a
And to
screen are just
me,
not as easy.
everything else is optional, but relationships is really the glue that makes something successful or not.
Right. Yeah.
Cool. So anything else that you would want to change?
Oh,
Yes, go, Blaise.
well, we might want to add the done. Like we have our list of to-dos, which is really cool. But it's also nice to see how much progress we've made.
True.
Yeah, this sort of relates to what I was about to say that I've written down. I wasn't sure whether it was even worth mentioning it this week, but in terms of like learning how to do open source, one of the things what we're doing is we're working in public. I mean, not just doing it on the Twitch, but like
yes.
we're writing commits into a public repo, which is awesome. What we're not doing, which is skills that you need to do open source, is we're not really using branching and pull requests, and we're not using GitHub issues, and we're not doing any asynchronous work. We don't really do much between these sessions, and I think that's like fine. That's just how it is right now. But in terms of like learning all of the skills for open source, that's stuff that we're going to need to do. And I sort of wondered whether at some point, as this thing starts to take a bit more shape now, and we stabilized it maybe with these two scenarios that are like the core of it, and we start thinking about what we're going to do next, maybe we should start doing a bit more sort of project management, and maybe adding some issues into GitHub to defer the things that we want to do to it, but we're not doing yet. And then we can practice like using a branch to tackle a particular issue, making a pull request that's draft, pushing commits to it, seeing them, just playing with all of that tooling. I don't know whether it's quite time for that idea.
Very much. I think it's perfect timing. I was actually starting to look at that, like how can I start using it, because I don't really need it for my personal project. But then I was thinking that's where I am right now, so I would like to do that.
Okay.
And then we can maybe include that in one of the roles, like we've only got the driver and the navigator, but somebody that is not the driver or the navigator can then take the responsibility for doing the issue or logging that or something like that.
Yeah, because if it's not something you want to just chuck in a to-do in the code, but you notice it, it's really helpful to know that it's being recorded so you can forget about it. Yeah.
Anything else?
No, that was it from me.
Blaise?
No, that's good. Thank you.
And yes, I can't think of anything that I want to do differently at this stage. So it's great. So that's it. I will clean this up and just update all the actions and post it. And then I guess it is perfect timing because it is exactly 9:30.
Yay.
So enjoy the evening or the day.
Thanks, everyone.
Cool.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.
See you next time.
Cheers.